Freeman Street, Grimsby, home of Freeman Street Market. Known by locals as the heart of Freeman Street, this market is still going strong and providing a service to the local community. Over this series, we take a look at the lives of some of the people who rely on the market to provide themselves with an income for themselves and their family. Although many still give it a bad name, I've got to ask you, when's the last time you give it a try? This is Freeman Street Market. Let's head over to the attic. This second-hand and vintage shop is jam-packed full of objects from plant pots, antique furniture, china teapots and even a Buddha. We caught up with the owner Vicky to find out a bit more about her style.
If my buying has a style, it's partly shabby chic, partly French country. That's my personal favourite, French country. Very pretty, slightly shabby, slightly worn, but lovely and warm and loved. An aged look to things. That is my personal preference, and I suppose that does tend to lead my buying a little bit, and my customers seem to like that look for their homes as well. They can slot it in, they can mix and match. I also occasionally have antique pieces that are far too good to paint, and that again, I don't like a completely samey look, and by having the older pieces that are untouched, you get a mix and match look. It's more individual, it's not carbon copy, been to a chain store, bought the room display, everybody's house looks the same. This is all individual, it's personalised, people can do whatever they want with it, they can make it their own.
This stall is a real treasure trove for people looking for something a bit different. And it's clearly Vicky's passion. So what made her decide to set up?
I've been buying and selling as a hobby for 20 years. 10 years ago I decided to do it full time, and I worked initially just on eBay. Selling smalls, mainly china matching, and then 4 years ago I sort of came and had a look at the market and thought it was a nice place to work. It's a fantastic atmosphere, the customers are great, all the other stall holders are really friendly, it's a lovely atmosphere, and I started out on the front there with a little 6-foot table and some smalls, and then the front shop unit, they began to build the smaller units at the front, and I had one of those. That went really well. And then last August I was offered this space at the back, which I was delighted to have because it means I can do bigger pieces, I can get more involved in the furniture, I can display things properly so people can see how it might look in their own home. To find the things that I sell in the shop, I travel all over the place. North Bank, over to South Yorkshire, the whole of Lincolnshire, car boot sales, auctions, house calls, I buy from other dealers. Wherever there's anything for sale, I'll go and have a look. Particularly with the furniture, what I'm looking for is something that's a good shape. It doesn't matter what condition it's in when I buy it, as long as it's structurally sound and the shape is good. Something that's a good shape will always be a fantastic piece of furniture when it's been renovated. I go with no fixed idea of what I'm looking for. It's just, does something take my eye? Do I like it? Is it a good decorative piece? Is it interesting? Is it different? Would I like it in my home? And that's the sole basis for my buying decisions. Does it catch my eye? Don't want anything boring. Don't want anything the same as everybody else. I want something different, eye-catching, quality. Some of the older pieces, if they're in really good condition, I personally couldn't bring myself to paint them. I would see it as an act of vandalism. Whereas if something, say, it's structurally sound but it's been in the sun and it's sun-bleached, it's not going to be attractive to anybody unless it's painted. If it's a good piece, by painting it, you're giving it a new lease of life. It's the ultimate form of recycling. Everybody loves it again. Something that would have gone in a skip is suddenly desirable, attractive, and something you want in your home. I try and keep the prices as reasonable as possible. Everybody likes a good buy, me in particular, and I want my customers to have a good buy. I like people to come back. I like people to go away happy with what they bought and happy they've got it for a good price. Something you've bought for a good price you will always be more fond of than something you later feel you've overpaid for, I think. So I like a good buy, and I like to give my customers a good buy.
You see, Vicky knows that we all like a good bargain. Our local markets are a little bit like antiques, old and beautiful, but a heck of a lot better for being used. Perhaps that's a good philosophy for life in general.